This is the MTPredictor weekly update for July 24th. And you can see this is our daily chart of the Dow. Last week when we did the video, we were in this area, the wave 4 support area, and I projected up our wave 5. And you can see last week we came right up into our minimum wave 5. We can also take a decision point. This is a potential turning point in the market here, just in conjunction with that typical wave 5 up. That'll begin around the 12,810 area, extends up to 12,880 area. So that'll be our next big area of resistance above the typical wave 5. Now if they do correct, typically the correction is going to be a DP off the wave 4 swing. That would put us down here. That's in that 12,240 area. So next big resistance up here with support back to the wave 4. We'll see. We may get a decision point type of trade in here for correction back to the wave 4 DP if we get up into that area. If we correct right from the minimum wave 5, again, probably looking at this area here just below the 50-day moving average off the wave 4 DP. One last, you've got a final wave 5 up around that 13,200 area, and if we take a DP off the prior swing from here, that comes in again around that 13,000 area just before the maximum wave 5 up. So those are the next big areas of resistance above the typical wave 5 resistance in our DP here. So we'll see how those play out. Next we want to take a look at Goldman Sachs that we've been following and the banks. Again, the market was been moving higher without the banks, as the banks were moving lower. You can see this major decision point support here that we came into, and got a nice high volume spike there telling us that the buyers were stepping in this 125 area, and Goldman has moved up now in 135.50 area. We've got to see if it can take out all this. If Goldman and the banks in general can begin to make some progress to the upside, then that should be bullish for the market. Again, if they break down this area below this 120, 125 area, then it may be a heads up that the market is gonna we're gonna have a correction ahead. So that's why we'll watch that. Again, we were in this same area last summer, and this is when they began to take off to the upside. We're going to see if that in fact is going to be the case this summer. So we'll keep watching that. The bank index holding this area of support here that I put on the chart. If we get a break below that, again, that would be a bad sign overall for the banks and the market in general, I think. And then let's check the. Let's take a look at gold. If you remember, last week we were on our way up to this from the wave 4 support into our DP. We finally did hit the DP here on a major wave 5 up. Here's this kind of orange area is your minimum wave 5 resistance. So hit the DP first off the wave 3 swing here. So you can see how it's consolidated in this area. Again, the correction be back to the wave 4 DP, and that would put us around that 1461 area, 1462 area, just above the 200-day, which again would be a good buying opportunity if you're a long-term player in gold or silver. So we had this nice run up in wave 4 below the 50-day, above the 200-day, which have been good buying opportunities going back several years now, as this market tends to hold that 200-day moving average and not break below it. So we'll see next resistance will begin right around 1618, 1620 area, and again goes all the way up to almost 1660, and then the 1720 area is going to be your typical wave 5 resistance. but we've got some resistance in here, so we're going to have to watch that in conjunction with the US dollar. So our US dollar, again, we've hit this major support in the US dollar. We rallied off of that. We've kind of been going back and forth, and I drew this little trend line here. We got to break below that trend line, but we've got that. The debt ceiling is on the clock. August, they're making a decision on that. Probably going to be one of those 11th hour type of agreements on that. That could be bullish for the dollar. So this kind of picture we're seeing could change. Again, I still have our typical wave 3 up there because we hit this major support area. We could find ourselves in that typical wave 3 area, not out of the question. So I'm still putting it out there. Again, we're still going to have support. Here's your next level support in the dollar, around that 72.25 area. That'll begin. We're sitting around 74.20 as of Friday's close, and so we could see money come into the dollar if they have that debt ceiling agreement, and then see a pullback in gold and silver. The thing is that will be just a temporary, because all they're doing really is they're not solving the debt problem. They are just kicking the can down the road, and so long term it's still it's actually bullish for gold and silver if they do raise the debt ceiling, because we haven't dealt with the issue, and I don't know if they've clearly stated the issue, which is, we have too much debt, not just the government, but our whole nation, and not just our nation, but many countries around the world just have too much debt. And how do you solve that? Well, you can either say, first of all, you got to be honest and say, I can't pay the debt. Any individual out there that's in that position that our country is in, or our government is in, has to face the facts and say, I can't pay the debt. And your options are, can you take 10 cents or 20 cents on the dollar, or are you just going to default? Or the third option is figure out what debt is viable and which debt was, bad debt or derivative debt, and separate that out. But so we'll see. Again, that's coming up in August. Debt ceiling could give a pop to the dollar, and a pullback in gold and silver there. So we'll see what happens. And then let's just take a look at oil. The TS4 long setup in oil still playing out. The actual target's up here around 117, almost 118, but our decision point resistance in between our target and our entry here is sitting, let's see, this is that'll begin right about 105 in oil. So we'll see if they take this little A swing out here and eventually get us into that 105 area, and then the market will have to make a decision in that area. We'll see if they sell off, or if they break this decision point area, break out of that to the upside, then we should see that target eventually. All right, that is it for this week. Should be an interesting week as we head into that ongoing negotiations for this debt ceiling. My feeling is, and just my feeling, that they will raise the debt ceiling. They pretty much have to if they want to print more money. So and vice versa. So we'll see that probably in agreement at some point. Could be at the last minute. And like I said, watch the U.S. dollar and watch gold and silver. They may pull back on that where the dollar rallies, and we'll see what the banks do and how that affects the U.S. markets here. All right, have a great week, and we'll see you back next week.